My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Very pathetic while they try to duck and hide because they know they're also being documented, stalking me so obsessively in planes. All right, not only are there no destinations here, not only is it not a coincidence while you're in the path and that ridiculous type of stalking is being documented, the entity is doing so are no plane schedule, and you're clearly just engaging in what is crossing path with me. They're doing so in the environment where the fake sun rises and sets. This is P.O.C. at 5:32 a.m. The entity's been stalking all night long by planes. This is the entity that's engaging what is maintaining the public nuisance. So inside of the Up in Public Library and the podcast that you listened to regarding yesterday, June 8, 2026, the people of the state who are demons as well, who are engaging in psychopathic pacing, this demon going this way, this demon going that way. They're pacing in engineer light, which is present now. They're doing so with regard to maintaining amplified audible activity inside of the library. Demons that don't have planes, that they cannot fly inside of a building as well, maintain amplified audible activity while everything that they're doing, okay, they're demons where you're looking at them physically engaging in behavior that is actually demonic. They are demons. So when they close a door, it's amplified in volume. When they walk upstairs, it creates what is sensational activity. When they flush the toilet, it creates amplified, audible, and sensational activity while they monitor your genitalia on the opposite side of the wall. Okay, that's the P.O.C. And the demons that are stalking me in planes share that mental illness, share that condition, share that criminal pattern of conduct. This is 5:33 a.m. and the entity is gang stalking at the Ontario Civic Center, where the entity of demons are monitoring me. They are obsessed with me. They are stalking, which is the evidence of your obsession, but the entity is monitoring. This exceeds stalking and this inhumane criminal conduct, which is obsession leading to the conspiracy to murder, which is what the commercial airline companies are being federally prosecuted for. That sound of the plane is demonic. And that is, by the way, the concession of a government that knows that they're going to be prosecuted within the walls of military tribunals. And these suicidal demons who have conspired murder, who have murdered many, many people before me, are going to prison for that which they've already committed and for what they conspired to do against me and for what they're still acting in furtherance of. They've sacrificed themselves and they're still stalking me. Okay, the commercial airline companies are being prosecuted for this. For this criminal activity, I will prosecute the employees of Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, while they are engaging in, as a corporate entity, providing the instrumentalities of interstate commerce, because federal group stalking and monitoring is a crime committed by the people. Now in Dallas, Texas, they're gang stalking. Okay, in Texas, they're gang stalking. They keep a fake sun in that state. And this is a way for the federal government to reach across the state lines and prosecute terrorists that are in adjacent states, that are in the country, including through the corporate entities, which is how the United States military, the United States government is maintaining surveillance. And I will be prosecuting you companies while the mentally ill are utilizing what is a corporate entity that you created and formed for the purposes of criminal surveillance. Okay, and the fact that you're engaging in criminal surveillance and you being the company represents you is the evidence that that's the criminal purpose, not your stating that you created it for some other honorable purpose. The fact that you're gang stalking in California is the evidence that you created that corporate entity for that criminal purpose. This is P.O.C. It is currently 5:35 a.m. Here we go. This is psychopathic pacing, and this is as Robert is crossing path by entering into Page One Cafe. Okay, and it's the same guise of crossing path, and this is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct as well. Okay, they're doing so in the engineered environment. So what Robert is doing right now at 6:06 a.m., he's not doing by himself, he's doing as an entity. These are demons that are engaging in what is in sync conduct, coordinated conduct, and their coordination is shown through the environment that they're in, which is impossible to naturally exist. They're demons. And through the targeting that is clearly identified, for example, the airport that's maintaining planes from that airport, but in an area where those terminals, those takeoffs, those published flights are distinct and separate from what I'm documenting here, where the entity is targeting, and also the frequency with which they're engaging in it. And the psychopaths who are the demon possessed, who are engaging in what is criminal surveillance and furtherance of murder, i.e. gang stalking, they're engaging in what is going back and forth around you, surrounding you. And they do this even while you are en route traveling, okay? This is the mentally ill entity that's engaging in a mentally ill pattern of conduct under the fake sun, which is what Robert is doing at Page One Cafe at 6:06 a.m. And on this side, a video that I'll attach to you, this is Securitas gang stalking with C-Max while you're going to prosecute the companies, okay? This is the security guard who does the same thing on the golf cart while she's crossing path with light activity. That's the coordinated conduct in concert with the entity that is monitoring with the U.S. military that are using the commercial airline companies, more companies that are being prosecuted. And the fake sun is on this side of the building long after Securitas is off, and the other Securitas, Leo and Dylan, and the other African-American female that highly changes her weaves are stalking in this fake sun is at the same venue. And that's only when I stay in Ontario. Okay, and that's how you know what they're doing in UPLAND. All right, this is the P.O.C. It is currently 6:08 a.m. and it is the evidence of mental illness while the entity engages in that criminal and mentally ill behavior. You're walking in the environment. You're walking in the evidence. They're all in the evidence. You see her shadow? That's projected light. All right, and, the entity's keeping this fake sun 10 hours from now. So you're talking about 12 hours from now after 6 p.m. And that's where you are under this fake sun in the morning and you're gang stalking with the entity that's using helicopters, for example. You are going to prison. And I do not need anybody from the company, the commercial airline companies to present. You get your day in court, but you're being prosecuted and you are guilty. You don't have a constitutional defense. This is what the U.S. government's pattern of conduct is. You've provided assistance to that. You're being prosecuted for it, period. An American citizen whose life is at stake and under an emergency, is that which is superseding your legally irrelevant and implausible case that you don't know anything about it. Okay, the pattern of conduct is underway. They know everything about it, and I've proven that even in their silence. The planes that are stalking me, the environment that is stalking me while those planes are stalking me, the entity that's acting in concert with it, ignorantly coordinating that pattern of conduct is what is providing the evidence against the entity. This is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 6:09 a.m. Robert is inside of Page One Cafe. It's the same city of Ontario, okay? This is the fake sun. And this is what the entity is doing while they are stalking from city to city. And it is the evidence of Robert's ongoing hostility and harassment while he's being documented. And that is relevant to what is sentencing and damages. Okay? Gang stalking with Southwest Airlines, which is going to be prosecuted as a company. Flying over the senior citizen apartment complex, that is gang stalking as well. The entity is engaging in this while Securitas is gang stalking right in relevant position. Okay? And the evidence to you, so that you know that, is this is impossible light activity that's appearing over here underneath the structure, where Southwest Airlines is the guise for demonic activity. That is, the prosecution of companies is going to include psychological torture, which Southwest Airlines, a corporate entity, is engaging in order to criminally defame me, in order to threaten and harm my well-being, and also physically take my life. This is the evidence of it. These companies away, the environment where you are already targeting. P.O.C. Securitas, Southwest Airlines, John Stewart Company, the senior citizen. This is impossible light activity. They're all demons. They're all targeting. This isn't even sunlighting. You know the sun doesn't sit at one address like I have on evidence in the evidence for 12 hours. This is the entity that is gang stalking. The aged are demons as well. Okay? Demons don't have an age. They're using the aged vessels. And the demons are providing what is evidence against companies, and those companies are being prosecuted. This is P.O.C. The Senior Citizen Complex, the Senior Citizen Center, the Page One Cafe, which is the city of Ontario. They're flying and stalking over the City Hall. This is the government that's engaging in a pattern of conduct. This is the entity that is shown to be mentally ill, i.e. demon possessed. P.O.C. This is P.O.C. Pay attention to the light activity on the vehicle that changes. Then they use a turn signal, stalking with Alaska Airlines. Now this is what GRG and GKG engaged in yesterday as I walk here, stalking in the path. This is coordinated conduct, just like C-Max, the street sweeper, light activity, and Securitas, the security guard that are crossing path. The elderly that are walking down the walkway in that impossible light activity, they're engaging in psychopathic pacing. This is mental illness that is evident to you with tangible evidence pursuant to criminal activity. And the criminal activity is attributed to corporate actors such as Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, where the entity is stalking, and they're doing so. This is the senior citizen complex. So the entities are fully exposed, engaging in criminal activity, and their mental illness is speaking to the entity that has long been convicted and is still engaging in what is essentially fruitless. Okay, they're being committed and they're being locked down with martial law. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is the mentally ill behavioral pattern. License plate. Because they want to murder someone. 9BTG977. While you are gang stalking, which is what you're doing, that's all that they're doing under a fake sun. Remember, it's not even going to stay here. It moves as I move. That's why when I'm already at Stater Brothers at this time, the fake sun is west of my location, which is impossible to coexist. It's impossible. But Alaska Airlines is what's connecting that for you. Alaska Airlines is being federally prosecuted. In concert with the people of the state, that's what connects that for you. In addition to my evidence, where you're looking at a fake sun that's west of my location right now, but when you're looking at where I'm at, it's east of what is the Ovitt Family Community Library on this end over here. The two aren't happening. And the sun is not some object that's remaining over all of us, following us for the duration of the day, like I'm documenting at the end of the day when I'm still capturing evidence of the fake sun over me. That's the P.O.C. This is the mentally ill. That is the intellectually inferior, incompetent. That are the national security threat. That are the violent sex offenders that are then in bathroom stalls crouching, as though everybody else forgot what they are, and they're in the bathroom as though they have a right to be there. That's why they're being federally prosecuted. That's the P.O.C. And they don't. It's the government. It's the 6:15 a.m. at Ovitt Family Community Library, where, again, you're looking at the evidence. They're all going to prison. They've engaged in criminal summoning over the years, criminal defamation, while they're exhibiting this mental instability, and I mean including while Alaska Airlines is stalking me while I'm at the venue, while it's closed. Their mental instability and their criminal activity, the malicious misrepresentations of fact that they committed while they were stalking with the sex offenders, the stalkers of the Ontario Police Department, they're going to prison. This is P.O.C. Here it is, 6:15 a.m. It does not matter how many times you fly over senior citizen complex, it will equally be in violation of zoning. It will equally be the evidence of what is targeting. It will equally be what is relevant to the judicially noticed fact that they're doing it in the environment, and you're going to prison, you're being committed. It doesn't matter how many times you do it. In fact, the more that they do it, they're showing how psychotic and unhinged and how needful it is for them to be restrained. And how do you restrain a community that's engaging in criminal activity, trying to murder someone? You put them under martial law. This is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 6:16 a.m. Alrighty, this is video evidence of the entity that's in the parking garage. Look at the light activity on the floor. This is the demon that's stalking, engaging in serial stalking at the Civic Center, and is monitoring with the entity using the planes 8KPN281. He's a serial stalker. This is the male with the sweatpants on. He's always engaging what is gang stalking by walking through the walkway where I just traveled. He is stalking me with the commercial airline companies. He is stalking with Sarah's Regis Group. This property is being prosecuted. This is the fake sun. This is entirely impossible. It's the evidence of being targeted. And so is this impossible light activity right here. All right, here's my shadow here. This is impossible light activity. This is the evidence that you're a stalker while you try to flee the scene. And that's the entity also that is ignorant about the fact that they're not individuals, they're an entity. And the entity is engaged in what is maintaining an environment conducive to surveillance. Surveillance that's serving what is the conspiracy to murder. And there is no creation of light activity that appears on the inside of a parking garage like this. That is a third party that's serially stalking, and that's the basis of federal prison serial stalking. All right, that's P.O.C. It is currently 6:18 a.m. where you'll see the images I just took of Delta Airlines soaring over the senior citizen complex, where you know Delta Airlines is still over west of this location, flying miles and miles away, not engaging in any takeoff. Every single airline is being prosecuted for conspiring murder, for criminal activity, for treason, for the conspiracy to murder. The formation of that entity, that corporate entity, is providing what is the evidence to prosecute it, and also to remove it from existence after being subject to what are damages for the criminal activity of using a company to keep an American citizen under surveillance and furtherance of murdering that American citizen. That's P.O.C. And that's what you're looking at here. The fake sun was over me over this location. This is the ascendant entity of gang stalking. The demon possessed that are mentally ill are very low with regard to intelligence. This is the P.O.C. Now, Southwest Airlines is gang stalking me in Montclair, California, and Fontana, California, and doing so, for example, in Pomona, California. And the entity is engaging in what is this conduct over the Wells Fargo that has a fake sun over me, both in the morning and in the evening. Southwest Airlines at this same elevation at Stater Brothers, for example, And the entities engaging in this conduct while the entity keeps a fake son, which is the evidence the U.S. military is presenting against all of its co-defendants, who are the people of the state, and the commercial airline companies are the corporate entity, who are the people of the state that are being federally prosecuted. This is why I have a pattern of conduct by McDonald's, a pattern of conduct by Starbucks, the pattern of conduct by 7-Eleven, the pattern of conduct by you fill in the blank, because the entity is gang stalking in the same manner. And it is impossible that it is the natural environment, and it is also impossible that they are coincidentally engaging in that. In fact, under the law, it is established as what is a pattern of conduct, which is all that you have to prove, and you don't have any sort of constitutional, no legally relevant, well, it's a pattern of conduct, but I don't know anything about it, be prepared to be convicted. This is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 6:20 a.m. All right, here's the entity that is flying what is now nowhere in alignment with the city hall. Again, that's UPS, but this is the entity again stalking in the path and is clearly exposing the fact that they are openly terrorizing an American citizen and stalking. All right, this is with the people of the state's ongoing open communication of a threat and the intent to threaten, while they are sharing in the pattern of conduct with the people of the state that are providing the instrumentalities of interstate commerce by stalking in the absurdly mentally ill and psychologically torturous method of using commercial planes. This is the entity that is pacing. They're losing their driving privileges. That's Brightview. And businesses that are engaging in what is the pattern of conduct, such as Amazon Prime, that uses the roads and the highways to make deliveries, they're losing these privileges while they are engaging in the pattern of conduct. They're doing so while they are engaging in what is openly expressing their intention to levy war, that is to murder, to gang stalk, and furtherance of psychological torture to murder. This is the entity that does so with the gang stalk and police department. Everything that you're looking at, what UPS, what I documented, Southwest Airlines is who I documented, Alaska Airlines is who I documented, and let me see, Delta, Southwest, and Alaska Airlines, and this is UPS. And that is B Street. So this is C Street. So the entity, so meaning the Ontario City Hall is along C Street, where I'm at the walkway. The entity is, again, as I am deviating, that's where the entity is following with plane activity, stalking in the path. And you also know that, which is here, following as I travel. That's the entity that's making a unified communicated threat, and the people of the state are being prosecuted for it. This is the P.O.C. It's 6:29 a.m. where the fake sun is following, and so are the demons in the planes, and so are the people of the state, including license plate 8 Paul Charlie Bob 52. People of the state are losing the privilege to drive, which has been abused and used to engage in terrorism, where they conspire murder and they are a threat to national security in doing so. This is the pattern of conduct as I document the entity gang stalking in the roads and gang stalking in the sky space. This is the entity that's going to be federally prosecuted with regard to being permanently landed and permanently parked. It is currently 6:29 a.m. This is at the Laurel, 235 North Laurel, the chiropractic office, heavily documented here. Ontario police, the people of the state, the fake sun is over me at this Vos Church parking lot at 5 in the evening, where the entity has this fake sun, and then you have UPS doing a cartwheel where there is no destination. You're blatantly stalking. You're doing so while you know you're being documented. You're doing so in concert with the people of the state. You're doing so with all manner of businesses that are both gang stalking and making money. This is speaking to what is an epic prosecution at multiple levels. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 6:30 a.m. Just want you to see the level of mental instability behind the stalking that the U.S. military is engaged in. While the fake sun follows, this is the military. There's no passengers on this plane. Southwest Airlines is being prosecuted. While I'm in California, I'm prosecuting the entire company. The people that work for that company are engaged in surveillance throughout the U.S. as well. They're being prosecuted. It's P.O.C. They're flying through the housing community. That's no takeoff. Remember at Rock Church, 325 B Street, they're hovering over that fake church. That's the cross right there where they're doing so, and this fake sun is over me. After 4 p.m., this is the entity that's being documented. The Southwest Airlines and Alaska Airlines are gang stalking on Thursday, where that fake Christian, because that's what they are, he is associated with leadership of that church, engaging what is gang stalking me with the homeless population, who will be going to prison just like any other executive, any other gang stalker police officer, while they're engaging in what is criminal defamation, engaging in what is threatening to commit criminal summoning at what is 325 B Street, which is right here, which is where I'm at. at 4 o'clock in the evening. Southwest Airlines is being prosecuted while that company is headquartered in another state, which is speaking to the U.S. government's pattern of conduct while they are including what are and relying upon the people of the state that provide instrumentalities of interstate commerce. You're stalking the entire neighborhood. They're going to be under martial law. Okay, and you're documenting all the license plates. This is the ease with which you're documenting. As I show you the pattern of conduct, you see what they're doing. You see the environment that they're doing it in. A fake sun, they're all demons. And this is the surveillance system. And they are all going to pay. They're going to pay monetarily, but they're also going to pay with losing all privileges. You don't have any privilege under the state and federal constitution to be on the roads and the highways, to have a driver's license, where like the city of Ontario and the state of California is using it to engage in criminal surveillance or furtherance of murdering someone to set that person up. All right, engaging in what is lying, calling that target individual that you're stalking, you're gang stalking with the government that's stalking with you at, for example, a fake church like Rock of Faith at 325 B Street, which is on the opposite, right here at B Street. And the entity is doing so with regard to what is science that's going to put those demons in prison, just like I stated. They're going to prison. Okay, and it's all because you're hostile demons and you want to renege on what is your what you stated that you want to do, serve the homeless, but you can't do that because you're also engaged in what is criminal activity, which is demonic. And that's not my problem. In fact, it's more federal laws that you're violating while you harass the one that you're gang stalking with the unintelligent homosexuals that are stalking in the commercial planes. Judicially notice fact that this is not the sun. All right, judicially notice fact, the evidence is showing the fake sun is over me at 325 B Street right here after 4 o'clock in the evening. Judicially notice fact, which is relevant to multiple accounts. Everybody in that video that I've documented, including Eddie, he's going to prison. They're referring to the Ontario police that are being disbanded. The entity that's engaging in gang stalking in commercial planes are civilly and criminally prosecuted by this evidence. And it's judicially notice fact that there are no passengers on that plane that still has not conducted a takeoff. It is currently 6:35 a.m. This is the evidence to let you, this neighborhood right here, they're going to prison. I documented the same U.S. military, the Ontario police stalking by helicopter when they thought that that was a good idea. And I documented where I was at, and it's this area right here. They're going to prison. They're still gang stalking now. They're going to federal prison. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 6:36 a.m. This is speaking to the mentally ill that are engaging in a pattern of conduct. And the mentally ill are reaping the consequences of being crazy and then trying to stalk somebody that's prosecuting you and exposing the fact that you're crazy. You don't win in that. This is P.O.C. All right, in the images that are captured at 6:38 a.m., you will see at what is, I'm at B Street and Fern, and you will see the fake church, Rock of Faith, that engaged in criminal defamation, referring to me as a thief while they're literally just making up information. That's what the demon possessed do. They just made up information. I'm a thief. And then if you pay attention to the video that I'm referring to last Thursday, when I asked this homeless person that is gang stalking me and is obsessed with my vagina, when I asked him, oh, what am I stealing from homeless people? Did you hear the crickets? There was absolutely nothing, no response. All right. And that's not because I need any sort of proof who I am and what I steal and the entity that is stolen from me and that is entirely envious of the way that I breathe and the way that I blink my eyes is engaged in all the ways in which you're learning how a government is levying war against American citizens by even the homeless who cannot keep their bottoms clean are engaging in what is gang stalking. Okay, this is the inferior population, Satan's race, that engages in this sort of conduct. And they're doing so while they are showing how absurdly psychotic they are. All right, how absurd their criminal conduct, how obvious, how idiotic it is. The entity is going to be triggered inside of facilities. Okay, so while you're capturing the image, I captured the images, you're going to look at that because at 6:38 in the morning, you have the entity that's speaking to the fact that I'm a thief. Because it's a fact in the specific environment amongst the demons that are conspiring your murder. And while they engineer facts, they're going to prison for it. Okay, so all the entity that's gang stalking at Rock of Faith, it's all audible activity with United Airlines that is stalking on in images you'll see at 6:38 a.m. United Airlines that's hovering over the same rock of faith, B Street, in the relevant position where the fake sun is over me. So while I'm standing on the sidewalk in front of that fake church, while I'm standing at the next alley across the parking lot, the same location, in other words, which is, let's count the hours together, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 10 hours from now, my evidence is showing on video that Southwest Airlines and Delta Airlines are sharing in the pattern of conduct of targeting, and they were monitoring me to the criminally defaming audible activity of the homeless who are accusing me of stealing mysterious things that they don't want to speak of, while the thief is standing in their presence and asking them to please tell on me, tell everyone what I stole. Not only that, the entities engage in what is referring to in your audible activity, which is automatically published. What they say anywhere is a matter of being automatically published. You're going to prison for defamation and furtherance of murder. They're defaming your character in order to have you kidnapped. The entities engage in it, they make it up, and the police are just arrive out of nowhere. Nobody even called them. The police lie about why they're there. The police are already stalking in the first place. You're going to prison. All right, based on the pattern of conduct, and everybody understands how that's executed. So the entities engage in criminal defamation under a fake sun that's still over me at that venue, Rock of Faith, which I'm using as a landmark regarding the specific environment and the criminal pattern of conduct. The dog is audible activity, never mind that. So the entities engaging in that pattern of conduct, and it is putting the demons that are gang stalking, like now, DU 785. Gang stalking at the place of residence. She likes to gang stalk a lot at 538 Vesta and 544 Vesta. This entire apartment complex community is being prosecuted. Okay. And stalking me by planes and helicopters is not going to get you off the street, because that's where they're going. They're not getting any welfare assistance. They're not getting any loans. They're not getting any housing from the city of Ontario that's being prosecuted and gutted out. They're not getting anything. And what they have now, they're losing it. All right, that's the P.O.C. And this is at Bonita now, where I'm traveling, and the entity is stalking with a fake sun. And that's exactly what Rock of Faith was doing while stalking me, criminally defaming my character while you already know who I am, and you shouldn't know who I am. But the evidence that you know who I am, which is evidence of you targeting me and gang stalking me, and also lying on me intentionally, is based on not only the specific environment, but all that criminally defamatory speech that they uttered under a fake sun. Let me be clear. Let me just break this down. If the fake sun is there, they're lying. Okay? If the fake sun is there, they're lying. And they're not just lying, they know that they're lying. They're not just uttering a rumor that someone told them and they didn't know that it was false. They are lying, and they know that they're lying. The fake sun is there, meaning you are targeting, and you are targeting through what are engineered facts, or like the Trump administration would refer to, alternative facts. Okay, meaning you could just make up whatever you want in a corrupt entity that is stalking, like the homosexuals of the U.S. military are. They are engaging in what is providing what is the unintelligent evidence, body of evidence, that they are entirely incompetent and unfit. They have joined the military to engage in criminal activity. All right, and they have shown what is the dishonor, the disgrace of being associated with that. That's why you have the Marine Corps gang stalking me under the guise of a ceremony under the fake sun. Don't forget about that, because I document a lot, moment by moment. Do not forget that. They are showing you how meaningless it is. They are showing you how malicious it is, while they're engaging in U-turns over the housing community at 6 o'clock in the morning. And who's providing them planes to just engage in all the circus conduct? Who's giving the same ones that are being prosecuted for it? And the same ones whose homes and fake churches are in relevant position while it's ongoing. And that's also speaking to the fact that they're not innocent. That's why Rock of Faith is harassing. That's why that demon is barking at the top of his lungs, speaking of that which he has no evidence to speak of. Regarding, I make everyone mad. Who is everyone, and when have I spoken to him? Never have, because I would have already documented it. I would have already documented it. All right, so meaning I would have documented while I'm at that venue, and they are gang stalking me, that the entity is engaging in something where you have some, it doesn't matter regardless regarding the lawful conduct that I'm engaging in. But I'm speaking to the fact of he's making an admission while he's barking at the top of his lungs, talking about how I make people angry about their phone. So they're holding conferences about me in my absence, while they're also engaging in what is making up information that I'm stealing from them. And that's why I'm stealing from you, and I'm also putting you on video. I'm stealing from you, and I'm also repeatedly documenting you on video. This is somebody that's engaging in what is the behavior in the specific environment is speaking to what is psychopathic, not merely a fake Christian, okay? Not merely a criminal, but mentally ill. that level of rage and hostility is based on a demon that is triggered. Okay? So I just want to be clear on that, because that's psychological torture. That's the entity that's engaging in that conduct, and they do so isolating you and harassing you while you are documenting. That's the federal government. That is levying war as well. This is the P.O.C. The federal government's engaging in that which under no circumstances in real life, and this is real life. We're not surrounded with their illusions anymore. They're not engaging in any magic, and they never were. That's what's so hard for them to realize, because they are in fact mentally ill. In real life, when you levy war against any nation, which is what you're doing while you're gang stalking an American citizen, with regard to the United States, which these homosexuals in the military do not represent, they're going to be confronted by those that have authority of the federal government. That's why they're going to be in military tribunals, convicted and committed. And so are the people of the state. When you engage in such acts of war, there is a response. And it is one that's going to be disarming. And what the entity just engaged in, they are engaging in following me. What do you think is happening where I arrive at that destination? They're stalking, which you already know that about Ontario Village Shopping Center and Stater Brothers. But I'm just showing you step by step. And where the entity is stalking me through the neighborhood, they're doing so. License plate 9EME176, 8ENB827. Demons pacing in the parking lot at Ontario Village Shopping Center. This is the entity that's engaging and doing so at, by the way, at what is 6:47 a.m. So the entity is engaging in this conduct, and this is relevant to what is 10 hours from now, where the fake sun is over me at that same church where United Airlines is stalking in the path. They're doing so while they're monitoring me and hostile, because I am laughing, because I did win a long time ago, and you forget about the people that are going to prison who are in the same environment because you are so obsessed with me and my vagina. And so are they. This is the entity that lost. And I want to be clear, the U.S. military has in every regard shown, the people of the state, therefore, the corporate entities, therefore, have all shown how they have been gun-ho, okay, that is committed, invested in murder. These are enemies, and they're going to be prosecuted and treated like that. That's exactly what they are. This is the P.O.C. It's 6:48 a.m. All right, license plate 9PWR484, stalking in the path while the fake son is now at Stater Brothers. License 9 Paul David Xavier 221. Stater Brothers employees who are going to prison are stalking in the path. 6VJN752. They're in perfect alignment with the entrance doors, where the fake son is also in alignment to me. You're looking at the purpose of, and gang stalking is executed. They're also engaged in the sex offensive monitoring vagina, and they do that with the people of the state, a population that join together in anticipation of genitalia being exposed, and for the purpose of violating corporately privacy in a bathroom where you maintain a reasonable expectation. All right, and this is something that David Quinones, the assistant manager, Edgar Reyes, Sharon, they're gang stalking as employees at the venue that are part of the criminal conduct that I just documented. They're all going to prison while I'm in the Stater Brothers, subject to the same P.O.C. And I'm present on camera right now at what is 6:50 a.m. A soul's going down the hallway where the bathroom is. They're stalking while they're in front of you. Good morning, Kia. Is the restroom open? A soul?
It should be
Women's? Okay, thank you. Alrighty, and the entity is maintaining presence in the path while they're in the hallway, stalking. And this is what you already know. This is literally me just breaking down, because you see how psychotic the stalking is. It's the same. While the people of the state, who are demons, try to maintain silence and composure, while they are equally psychotic, equally obsessed, and equally engaging in criminal conduct. And it's also showing the sex offender, because they're doing it around a bathroom. All right, like I'm gonna escape through a hole somewhere, like I'm gonna pull a communication device outside of from my genitalia, like there's some secret thing that I'm gonna do. That this entity that's obsessed with that. They're not doing it because they're doing it because they're sex offenders, and they engage in rituals pertaining to your genitalia. This is the Jezebel spirit. They're going to be committed with this mentally ill and criminal and sexually violent conduct. It is currently 6:51 a.m. A soul, Kia, the people of the state are inside of the grocery store stalking inside of this venue, and this is bathroom monitoring that's underway right now at 6:51 a.m. P.O.C. All right, it is currently 8:24 a.m. and it's June 9th, 2026. And so what you've been listening to are the series of videos that I documented regarding what is the pattern of conduct. And it is revealing what is psychopathic behavior. It's revealing what is obsessive behavior. It's also revealing what is delusional behavior, the ongoing continuation regarding that which was supposed to be a secret, that which was supposed to be classified, that which is resulting in very serious and severe and long-term consequences for many people at the same time. This is an entity that's engaging in what is that pattern of conduct in front of you, the witnesses who are witnessing essentially Satan. This is about the enemy who has used people that are in positions in order to engage in targeting other people who he has called, the Lord God has called. So the entity is engaging in criminal activity, and everything that I'm documenting is revealing what is exposing the secrets of those that surround us. And what also surrounds us are the illusions that these people need in order to maintain presence around you without being suspected of a thing. Okay, so all that is shattered. And what you are essentially looking at, listening to, is the ongoing progressive deterioration of the mindsets of those that have been targeting me. And this is because they've been engaged in what is for a very long time. First of all, the practice of witchcraft. This is playing in what are dark spirits that do not discriminate with regard to who they will attack, especially when you summon them without authority. And I mean demons, okay? Because none of us have authority to be engaging in what is witchcraft. It is ungodly. It is that which the Lord God has told us in Scripture not to play around in, not to deal in. And no child of God is engaging in witchcraft. And witchcraft is an umbrella term. There are many forms of witchcraft, including in your sin, which you're not associating with witchcraft. Promiscuity, drug use, they're forms of witchcraft. But nonetheless, these are demons that are literally engaging in spell work, voodoo, black magic, okay? They call themselves engaging in the practice of witchcraft, and they are very hostile to learn, as I document, and they are witnessing their own prosecution while they wanted to monitor the federal prosecutor. The fact that they're engaging in what is mentally ill behavior, the fact that they've never been magical, the fact that they are merely cursed by demons who are targeting them now. And the entity that is gang stalking in this obsessive manner is the entity that is engaged in what is losing its mind before you, okay? They're engaged in ongoing progressively ill conduct. That is an admission regarding everything that they're doing. They're not doing it in secret. They're not doing it discreetly. They're not doing it under any other circumstances other than speaking to literally, because this is also the court, okay? This is the court while you're listening to it and watching it on social media. And it is directly in what do I mean by that? I literally mean that. I am acting with the authority of the federal government, and I am speaking to and exposing also the government that's been engaged in criminal activity. The entities engaging in this conduct, and they're doing so while they are before the court admitting to engaging in what is the unthinkable. And that is also relevant because not only is that an admission with regard to practicing law and prosecuting, the entity has engaged in all manner of targeting me, defaming my character, lying that anything that I say about someone I'm paranoid and I'm a thief and I'm a prostitute and I'm a drug addict and I'm a horrible person. And this gives the government the right to target me. All right, I'm a terrorist. They put me on the terrorist list, and this gives the government the right to stalk me. This is the entity that's engaging in that at the same time while they're making all of those these admissions while they are blatantly stalking, including in planes. This is the entity that's engaged in this conduct, and they are doing so. What you are witnessing, I want to make sure you understand. While I'm in the grocery store, and the entity is following me around with noise, and they're engaging in what is stalking in a grocery store. You have no choice but to understand what they're doing. The entity that's stalking that obsessively in the planes, they come right into the building and get behind a shopping cart and wear their uniforms in the store, stalking. They're stalking. And the environment followed me to the venue. They're all stalking. Under the law, that's what the entity is going to be prosecuted as. All right, the entity is engaging what is its ongoing deteriorating mindset is that which is going to have them committed. And this is a matter of national security. This is a population of the mentally ill, and this is the product of the evil that they have committed against other people. Okay, so the entity has targeted one that is myself, who is in fact impervious to any demonic spirit that cannot touch me in Jesus' name. Okay, so it takes that person that is covered that in order to prosecute it, okay, because this is not merely criminal activity, it's demonic activity. So no ordinary federal law enforcement officer can combat this. In fact, anyone else is going to become a part of it. And that's also why you have such tremendous corruption. All right, so the entities engaging in this pattern of conduct, and I want to be clear, this is the evidence speaking to the ongoing progressive deterioration of the mindsets. They are, in other words, I'm going to put it in layman's terms, they're going crazy, and they're getting crazier by the moment, by the day. And they're engaging in that which in their minds is accomplishing something. They're not accomplishing anything. It's been over. So this is an entity that is providing what is the ongoing body of evidence to have them put in facilities for your protection. Because they surround me while I'm in California. This is a population. This is Satan's race. Satan doesn't have an age. Satan doesn't have a gender. Satan doesn't have a demographic. Okay? Satan is a spirit, and he's using any and everyone. And what you've learned is that demon possession, those that are yielded to that, those that are vulnerable to it, are those that are engaging in what is not only abnormal, barbaric, animalistic conduct, and it's mentally ill with regard to the behavioral health concerns that are presented while you're gang stalking. The entities engaging in that which is speaking to the reality that it's not just in the movies, number one. Movies are created by demons who are telling you about what they are and what they do, by the way. And not only that, that there are more than not that are afflicted with this condition of demon possession, yielded to the devil. He is able to use them however he wants, whenever he wants. Okay? And the entities engaging in this conduct, which is criminal activity, and that's where that's where the federal government has jurisdiction to prosecute, and it is not a Salem witch hunt. Okay, they're engaging in Satanism. That's a violation of the constitutional rights of the American people, and also it's outside of any authority that the government has. They are all outside. They have absolutely no authority whatsoever. And what I want to be clear, what I want to underscore is that the entity is engaging in conduct which is revealing its own instability, which has been the case from the beginning. This has been the case. They were psychotic. When I was telling you that Tracy Banks is mentally ill, that she's evil, she is behind the entity that is stalking me by helicopters. She is still at this date thinking that she's going to accomplish something and that nobody's going to know what. That's not going to happen. But even worse, say some sort of ridiculous scenario where all of a sudden, everything flips and I just concede. Oh yeah, I'm going to just disappear and take myself out, and Tracy Banks is just going to take over my social media, and everyone's going to forget that I ever existed, and it was her the whole time. Everyone's going to forget what they've already been looking at and witnessing the entire time. Not only is that not going to happen, not only is no one forgetful about what they've been learning, everyone will know what would have happened, even if you couldn't explain it. You know that it's something that's absolutely suspicious. It's supernatural, like I have been telling you before. I just disappeared, all right, and this went off and lost my mind. And you're not going to look at her or this entity as though they're innocent and that nothing happened and that there's no questions and that we're just going to drop the case and that everything is fine. This is an entity that is under all circumstances psychotic. But none of that is going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. What's going to happen is that the entity is going to be prosecuted, and they're going to be subject to what are the laws regarding criminal surveillance and furtherance of murdering someone, just like any other criminal. And the criminal happens to be the government. And the government is acting through targeting entities such as Stater Brothers, who you hear using the store alarm while a gang stalker is stalking in the aisle. They're all in Engineer Light using shopping carts. They're all in Engineer Light stalking inventory. They're all in Engineer Light maintaining what is ongoing presence in the path. Okay? It doesn't matter what you're doing in that environment. You're being prosecuted, and you are merely psychotic while you thought no one would know the environment that's present. Meaning it doesn't matter whether you're delivering a baby or whether you are engaging with a stalking in the bread aisle. It's equally stalking. All right, this is the entity that's engaging in that, and it is currently, by the way, 8:33 a.m. and the employees at Stater Brothers are going to federal prison. This is not only stalking; it's a whole body of evidence regarding psychological torture, sexual violence. They're monitoring your genitalia. That doesn't even why are you even interested in that if you're that's how you know it's not just about stalking you and following you around. And you know that it is exceeding stalking, because if it was about stalking, the federal government, the U.S. military, in other words, know where I'm at. So why do you need to keep crossing paths over and 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 over again? This is exceeding stalking. This is a psychopath's objective to make sure that they keep coming around. They keep doing so over and over and over again. That's exceeding what is merely stalking, following me from place to place. Okay, and they do so pursuant to what I do. They walk by and maintain that presence in an absurd environment, and they do it pursuant to what it is that I do. As I move, as I use my devices, here they come. All right, and they engage in that as a team effort. Okay, the team is mentally ill, and the team is stalking, and they're engaging in what is monitoring while they're exceeding that which is stalking. And the entity that is monitoring is the entity that's engaging in mentally ill behaviors. It's going to result in what is prison and involuntary commitments. This is P.O.C. All right, so the entities engaged in this, and this is what you're understanding. You're witnessing the ongoing progressive deterioration of those that have been engaging in what is a satanic. They serve Satan, and they're losing their minds. They're going crazy, and they're going to lose much more. All right, this is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 8:35 a.m. This is P.O.C. Criminal facilitation. This is prison. He's monitoring with the people that are pacing under the fake sun at 7th Street and San Antonio. It's an Asian male, looks like. 7 Kelly, Uncle Wendy, 965. That's the entity that's doing so with the U.S. military, and the entity that's conspiring murders, stalking on the roads and the highways. These are the ones that are losing the privilege to drive. They engage in murders, not car accidents. There are no accidents under the fake sun. They're stalkers on the roads and the highways. Co-conspirators of murder, MELVIE, 8HCM 506. And the one that's providing in the images, you'll see the light activity, the facilitating light activity. While these demons are stalking and engineer lights swiping across the buildings, they're going to be put off of the roads and the highways in order to protect the lives of American citizens and to stop them from profiting from the corrupt insurance industry that's profiting from federal group stalking and monitoring, this public corruption issue that is piercing into every area of society in all industries, while the entity profits off of what is murder, which is what they commit, while they're gang stalking as the people of the state who maintain no privilege to be on the roads and the highways. This is relevant to martial law. This is P.O.C. It's federal prison for engaging with this third party that I documented engaging in. 9MWG 954. This is P.O.C. It is, by the way, under the fake sun, 9:57 a.m. in 3 minutes. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. This is not over the Open Family Community Library at 10 o'clock. It's not over the Fontana Lewis Library at 10 o'clock. It's not over the Upland Public Library at 10 o'clock. And this old bitty 3212Y is gang stalking and furtherance of murder. That's the pattern of conduct. P.O.C. in concert with those that are not even American-born citizens in this country, which this entity that has defied the law and betrayed American citizens and betrayed the oath that they took that they never meant. That's why immigrants are gang stalking us in the United States, and they're getting deported. Unapologetically, by the way. P.O.C. It is currently 9:58 a.m. Alrighty, this is the entity that is indeed stalking for the government. Doing so in relevant position. These are not private citizens. These are third parties. And this is called psychopathic pacing. They're psychopaths that are crossing paths. This is more than stalking. And you're not supposed to know that they're stalking you. They are indeed stalking you with that government that's stalking in the sky space, equally mentally ill. Coordinated criminal activity that's demonic. You're being prosecuted where you live. You're being prosecuted as you travel. You're being prosecuted while you're maintaining surveillance. Every commercial airline company, every airport being federally prosecuted, and they are being put out of business and they're being shut down. For example, the Ontario International Airport, the Cable Airport. This is the entity that's engaging in the P.O.C. It is currently 10 a.m. where there's no sun. This is the evidence, science, which is going to shut down airports. It's going to federally prosecute gang stalkers like Southwest in Dallas, Texas, where the entities engaging in this P.O.C. and they're doing so with the population that are abusing the privileges of the state. The state of California, the residents don't have any privilege that exists to engage in surveillance with the government. And it's a judicially noticed fact that this is not the natural environment, which is speaking directly to the malicious conduct, which is a matter of public corruption. The necessity of removing the privilege to drive, where they commit murders and they're engaged in conspiracy to murder on the roads and the highways. This is P.O.C. It's currently 10:01 a.m. at 375 North San Antonio, okay? The entity's engaged in what is honking their horn. There's nobody, nothing. They're monitoring, okay? This is the entity that's engaged in what is stalking me. They're obsessed with me, like they are obsessed with my vagina. The government is what are the people of the state. And they, by the way, by virtue of their criminal conduct, everyone that goes in the bathroom is that government that is stalking. And they're going to be prosecuted as the sex offenders that they are. Keeping your genitalia under surveillance through the stalkers who are the people of the state. Prosecuting 387 North San Antonio, 375 North San Antonio, where the entity is engaging what is this criminal pattern of conduct together as one. All right, you are engaging that P.O.C. while then this is Cable Airport that's going to be prosecuted, and it's the U.S. military. These homosexuals are in UPLAND stalking and exhibiting mental illness in doing so, just like they were in Ontario and commercial planes throughout the city, okay, under a fake sun that's still the same person, okay? Stalker, 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 stalker. And so are the kids that they give birth to. They're not humans, they're creatures that are under the age of majority, and this is not under no circumstances supporting or advocating that minors that are demons, that are monitoring us, that are a threat to national security, that are equally engaged in criminal activity with the government and with the people of the state who are the government, that you should be engaged in harming them or targeting them. But you need to know the information. These gang stalking toddlers, gang stalking minors, gang stalking teenagers are engaging in that which is in furtherance of murder while they monitor you, and they are of age where they know exactly what they are doing. They are not innocent children. They're demons. This is the P.O.C. It's 10:03 a.m. Upland police are stalking, license plate 1697847. That's an African-American male, vehicle 202. And the entity is maintaining surveillance, stalking me together. So Upland police are acting in coordination with the people who are stalking in the path. Under the fake, Upland police are demons. So is Marcelo Blanco. And they're stalking me with the entity that's maintaining aerial surveillance over me. This is very much coordinated while they're surrounding me. And while you're doing so as a police officer, you're engaged in what is stalking, and he's going to prison. As an African-American, he's going to federal prison. Marcelo Blanco and the entity, I want to be clear, Darren Goodman in San Bernardino, he committed kidnapping in 2022. This same department that's still gang stalking now under the fake sun at what is 152 8th Street with the people of the state. Upland police are being disbanded. License 9UOM475, stalking with the police, which is prison. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct. This is the same street where the Upland Police Department are stalking me by helicopter. This is 8th and Euclid right here. They're stalking me by helicopter right here. It's currently 10:21 a.m. That video evidence, in concert with this one, is speaking to the judicially noticed facts where that department is targeting, and they are going to be disbanded because they committed kidnapping while gang stalking me in furtherance of murder. And they're conspicuously doing that against an American citizen that's documenting it. And they're still stalking now. Exhibit A. Stalker, 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 stalker. And the fake sun moves as I move. That African American, he's gang stalking with the Upland Police Department. Wearing that uniform, he's going to prison. And these are demons engaging in surveillance. This is the entity that's engaged in that. And this is a department, not just these demons right here. These are vagina monitors that are psychopaths monitoring me with Elizabeth and Carissa and Joy and Alan and Adam Tuckerman and all the sex offenders that go into the bathroom of the Upland Public Library, where you know this fake sun is still over me, where Mr. Landivar of Upland Police are gang stalking, and that's 2 hours prior, and it's already at the Upland Public Library. What do you think that they're doing? They're providing evidence to disband them for treason and also the conspiracy to murder as a department. And they're listening right now, sitting around standing like nothing's happening. This is how the entity wearing these departments are being committed. It's not evidence of ignorance. Everybody already knows. You're looking at the mentally ill engaging in public corruption. 9NPJ934, 9SUN456, 7SNK841. This is all federal stalking. ARCO is gang stalking. I'm going to prosecute them. 438-7101. 9ELR448. This is the P.O.C. and this is mentally ill behavior that department is going to be shut down for. All right? And this is Marcelo Blanco. That's letting you know that he is an enemy of this country, targeting an American citizen with the U.S. military, that the Upland Police Department are criminally cooperating with, in fact, committing kidnapping with them as an entity. And the one that drove by is going to prison. This department's being disbanded, and they're going to be prosecuted for terrorism. That's the pattern of conduct. These are sex offenders, not police officers. And because they dress up like they're cops with authority, they're going to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:23 a.m. And the fake sun remains over me as I cross the street again. License plate 9RDL529. This is not the sun. It's in Fontana, California. It's remaining over me aboard Omnitrans in entirely different venues. It's remaining over the roof of the Upland Public Library right now as a matter of my evidence. These are stalkers. And the stalkers are being put out of business. They're being prosecuted as terrorists. They're not getting final paychecks. They're not getting retirement. They're not getting any 401k. They're being prosecuted as violent sex offenders, and doing so under the guise of what is law enforcement. They're engaged in surveillance. That's mentally ill and criminal conduct together, and they're demons. That's what's happening to the Upland Police Department, who are targeting me with the people of the state. It is currently 10:23 a.m. P.O.C. All right, this is federal prison. Upland Police, license 1675593, vehicle 224. That's a white female. She's going to prison. P.O.C. All right, relevant to what is the entity that is stalking. He's stalking me with the entity that's right above my head and going to prison. This is the entity that's maintaining aerial surveillance and stalking me while wearing a police uniform is a very serious act of terrorism. Levying war. This is a white male, license 1591718. Pay attention to the fake sun moving as I move. I'm the one that they're targeting. I was back there. Fake sun is moving in the direction that I'm moving at the speed that I move. And Landivar is going to prison. Landivar is getting stalked at the Upper Public Library. Remember Chang that went into the Vaughn's grocery store? And that was April 27th. You know what they know is going to be published soon? Chang gang stalking me inside of Vaughn's. License 1591718, vehicle 210. He's going to prison. This is called criminal summoning, where the people of the state, the fake suns reflect windshield. This is a demon manifesting. It's called light activity. It's doing so with the people that say who engage in the same thing, light activity, under the fake sun. Now, what you're also going to pay attention to, April 27, 2026, where Chang of Upland Police and his demon-possessed buddies literally hunted me down in a grocery store. It wasn't that much of a hunt because they're vagina monitors who are keeping me under surveillance. So they went inside of a grocery store regarding that which is not criminal, that which is not suspicious, that which provides them no basis to detain, question, or anything. They went into the grocery store gang stalking with these demons who don't have any privacy, and they're not even going to have a privilege to drive on the roads and the highways. Neither will police departments that are gang stalking. They're losing their privilege to be on the roads and the highways. It's criminal activity. Moreover, the entities engaged in this conduct, and this is vehicle 214, license plate 1697555. They're going to prison. They're gang stalking at the people of the state venue. This is 9SLP363. They're gang stalking, and the entity has the fake sun at this intersection, stalking me by helicopter, stalking by criminal summoning, where this fake sun is still here. He's going to prison. They're going to prison. This is terrorism and psychological torture, and it's also mental illness. And don't forget who's going to prison. On April 27th, you'll pay attention when I'm still at Vaughn's during the 10 a.m. hour. The sun is over me at Foothill and Euclid at that Vaughn's at 80 Foothill Boulevard. This demon is going to prison, and it does not serve you to target me because you're preparing for stalking me because you're hostile because your partner is about to be published on the internet. It's speaking to what is prosecuting that whole department, because that's what this is. The demons, the vagina monitors of the city of Ontario do the exact same thing. The demons of the city of Los Angeles do the exact same thing. When they're looking at monitoring and they know what was documented, they're anticipating it being published. You will pay attention. You'll see the pattern through what it is that I'm also doing on the internet on my devices. Under all circumstances, it doesn't matter. If I was going to publish information about Bozo the Clown, which he's also that, he's going to prison. This is under all circumstances the fake sun that is still here after 6 p.m. All right, that's the P.O.C. It is remaining over me at what is 10:29 a.m. This is the pattern of conduct. And they're gang stalking with the people of the state. This department is being shut down. This is light activity by a demon. This is crossing path, psychopathic pacing. And they're engaging in this conduct with the military, the homosexuals, and they share in a satanic pattern of conduct that's statewide. Statewide. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 10:29 a.m. I want to document that because this is crossing path while I walk, right? And the entity is stalking in my path. While you see them, they're monitoring. And this is employing what are the judicially noticed facts for which the entity of the Upland Police are being put in prison and they're being put in mental institutions. And they're being prosecuted as terrorists. They're not engaged in any duties of the execution of the duties of officers. It's the direct opposite, and this is already a prosecution. So this is a psychopath that's engaged in criminal conduct, that's mentally ill behavior, serving for what are the necessary creations of policy in order to surround domestic terrorism, which is no longer a rumor, a conspiracy theory. You can search however you want. They're engaged in stalking a whole other person with the people of the state, and they're in federal prison for it. And never are you going to disregard the fake sun that he is under. This is the P.O.C. This is the P.O.C. right here. It's currently 10:30 a.m. They're going to prison. This is what you get. And remember, they're all monitoring too. This is going to be dealt with by martial law, though. They are being disbanded and they're going to prison. Every single last one that is stalking. P.O.C. All right, this is P.O.C. regarding the developmentally challenged. with the tutelage of gang stalkers of OPARC and Anthesis that are engaging in the pattern of conduct in concert with the developmentally challenged. That's analogous to gang stalking with children. And the entities engaged in that, and I want to be clear, this is not to state, it's speaking to the fact that they are both children and the developmentally challenged. They're demons as well. They are engaging in the malicious pattern of conduct by appearing as those that are incapable, and that's the entity that is under no circumstances in any position to try to rebut the body of evidence. They can't. I'm showing you all the ways in which they're targeting, and this is the fake sun that is outside of the windows of the Upland Public Library, where I just walked inside, and the fake sun was over the Veterans Memorial Park. That's Memorial Park, so that's out the front entrance. So the fact that it's now over the back outside of this window is speaking to stalking under fake sun. It's impossible. Very rapid movement, but yet at 5 p.m. it's still over the same roof. Okay, this is the Mimi's Cafe, the Carnegie Library. This is First and D. And as a matter of history, I've documented this before 2026. And I compared it to the Fontana Lewis Library, where the fake sun is over me at the same time. And it is not in Fontana, reflecting off of the gang stalkers' windshields. This is indeed where the light source is. The entity's keeping this fake sun, and this is the entity that moves the fake sun that's then over the other portion. That which is also not creating this light activity over here. It's impossible light activity. It's demonic. And these are demons. Okay, it's not over the roof of the library, and it's also not shooting like a laser, creating this light activity that's shooting downward, which is impossible. It's this shape of this, it's flat on the ground, while the fake sun then moves rapidly to be at this location in the first place. This is supposed to subconsciously suggest to you that this light is here because the sun is here. But this does not create this sunlight on the inside of the building, and moreover, this light activity remains all day long, and this, what you see here, is impossible to be of what is this right here. Moreover, it's going to stay like that, while then the fake sun is going to be over the roof while I walk over there. This is the entity that is stalking with light. The mentally ill are stalking with light. They're sitting inside, letting their children run around, make a bunch of noise, monitoring on devices, gang stalking by tutoring, gang stalking by stalking in book stacks, gang stalking in the bathroom, gang stalking while keeping a straight face. Those are psychopaths and sex offenders. The P.O.C, gang stalking under the guise of a business. And that's the corporate entity that's being prosecuted. This is the P.O.C. So I'm just going to show you more than one vantage point. This is called meeting in the path. This is not coincidental. This is a stalker. Okay, the homosexuals that are engaging in this pattern of conduct are mentally ill, and they're also hostile. While you document them and show them to be homosexuals, while you show them to be stalkers, while you show them to be demons. And this is the fake sun that rapidly moves, proving that homosexuality, that mental illness, and that criminal stalking on behalf of the government. Fake sun rapidly moves from being not over the building while it's over there. That's not over the building. Now it's over the building. And the light activity stays identical. It's not sun activity. They're all monitoring. They're all demons. Vagina monitors in plain sight, sex offenders. And then they hold hands with kids, and that's supposed to suggest to you that they're not. The entire population are sex offenders. These are not humans, they're demons. P.O.C. Presence in this environment is how the U.S. government keeps you under surveillance. And this is the pattern of conduct by the government. None of them are private citizens now that it is understood and clear, even to the point of science, that they're engaging in an entire hoax, which is designed to kidnap and murder an innocent American citizen. And those are demons that do that. Those are mentally ill people that do that. The fake sun's going to be over me now. This is the P.O.C. Stalking. This is all engineer light. And here's the fake sun. Okay, and this is the same side of the building that it's at after 2 o'clock, where AMR, demons that are mentally ill, unfit to be in the medical profession, any aspect, are engaging in criminal summoning after 2 p.m. when the fake sun's over this window. That's on video already. The entity is keeping the light source. It's currently 11:01 a.m. and that's the evidence. The light activity stays the same. This is not sunlight. None of this is anything other than stalking. They're a bunch of demons, they're dead people, and that this is levying war, and the government's being prosecuted, and so are the people of the state who are government actors, not private citizens. P.O.C. It's 11:02 a.m. So let me show you who that was. Engaging in criminal summoning while I'm in the same city. Her name is Joy. She's going to prison. She's stalking. The moment that I get up from my seat is when she opens up her door. She's psychotic. And let me show you the fake sun that's in the same position that it was this morning when I walked in, where Joy is stalking with the rest of her co-workers who are also going to prison. This is the entity that has the fake sun over the same ceiling where Joy is in the building and Joy is going to prison. All right, Joy's engaging in psychological torture while she's stalking the inside of the building, and she's also doing so with the psychologically harmful audible activity of sirens. Sirens, the ones that commit kidnapping, are the ones that are monitoring me and stalking me with Joy, who's an employee engaging in surveillance, not engaging in any constitutionally protected right to gang stalk on the job with the city of Upland. This is the P.O.C, and Joy's doing that at 3:20 p.m. You know what else Joy's doing? She's stalking me while the demons maintain surveillance in the bathroom, because that's what this is. Alrighty. Right, and these are the old crusty doors that are supposedly so loud when they close, they're interfering with my ability to peacefully read and use a computer while they are slammed incessantly while they monitor my evidence.
Right now, I have
Listen. That's the entity that's engaged in the ongoing audible activity as demons. All right, and this is the entity that's going to be committed. This is not evidence that's going to help you. This is evidence that's going to have them put in institutions. It's called malice, and acting like you're not gang stalking is evidence of psychopathic disorders. The evidence of gang stalking is the scientific phenomenon which no federal judge is disregarding. No courtroom, and none of you witnesses are disregarding this. You're looking at it in awe. All right, and what you need to be in awe of is that the entity is surrounding us, and they are maniacal psychopaths and violent sex offenders. Violent. All right, this is P.O.C, and this is again Marty, Ashley, Joy. This is Alan over here. Brianna's here gang stalking. So is Carissa. So is Laura. They're all going to prison. This is surrounding me. This is how much they're obsessed. This is surrounding stalking. So this is what you have when I am seated down. They're all surrounding, making sure they're in the path, and every move I make, sounding sirens and whatnot. Yeah, that's a P.O.C. All right, this is P.O.C. The three demons that I documented, Upland Police, who are stalking now by the people of the state, who are surrounding in the specific environment. Okay, Fatback on the scooter with his demon-possessed kids are monitoring me, stalking together as a family, which is what a demon-possessed population does, in an environment where they live, travel, and remain, and occupy, where the fake sun remains. This is the same 8th Street. This is the same Arco. This is the same venue where the fake sun was over the top of my head. And this is that pattern of conduct where you recognize gang stalkers who conspire your murder. They're losing their driver's license, no privilege to be on the roads and the highways. They commit murders on the roads and the highways while they're stalking you with the government. License 8LCR421, 6TEF487, 6MFU844. And this is the fake sun that's at the same position while I'm at the same intersection. I was on this side of the street this morning. And those psychopaths in city-issued vehicles regarding Upland Police, Marcelo Blanco, who's engaging in a pattern of conduct. Domestic terrorist leaders go to federal prison, okay? And that's what Marcelo Blanco is. This is the same intersection, like I stated this morning, where this entity at around this time is stalking me by helicopter, and you see the fake sun shining, and this is the evidence following up on everybody that's going to prison that I documented this morning. That's exactly where they're going, and they're all stalking ceaselessly as an entity, which is what this entity was doing inside of the Upper Public Library, where I'm in the city of Upland, and the fake sun still remains. Okay, there's no sun, no natural environment, that is, in Ontario or in Fontana or in San Bernardino or in Los Angeles, California, where I'm showing you the pattern of conduct in Pomona. Everywhere, in other words, that I'm showing you, the P.O.C. is underway. This is an entity that is engaging in that pattern of conduct, and they are the mentally ill. They are the demon possessed. All right, the pattern of conduct is underway at 8th Street in Euclid at 7:19 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right. This is, just want to be clear, in a specific environment, all businesses, including Metrolink, which is a threat to the public while Metrolink is engaging in the P.O.C., it's creating light activity. And this is massive facilitation, monitoring on your devices, monitoring, stalking you as a population. P.O.C. All right, if you don't understand that the entity is full of stalkers, they are. These are demons that are aware that they're also being documented as stalkers and are desperately trying to hide it. This is the P.O.C. This is the P.O.C. These are demons that are desperately trying to hide, flying and making a U-turn. That's I Street in Euclid, where the demons of the fake church engage in battery, where the entity is stalking me by helicopter flying in circles, and the entities engage in what is stalking. And if you don't understand that these are stalkers, that's all they are. And this is the entity that's going to be locked down with martial law. They're stalking on the sidewalks. This is obsession. HRIDGE, that's light activity. They're losing their driving privileges while they're stalking on the roads and the highways. They intentionally engage in collisions. That's murder and attempted murder with dangerous, weapons, using the vehicles, in other words, as weapons, okay? That's not an accident when they're engaging in surveillance with the entity that is stalking, okay? That's the entity that's doing so at what is J Street in Euclid. This is the P.O.C. and this is context, okay? This is context regarding the entity that is stalking while I'm in Upland, California, where the fake sun is at the same intersection at 8th Street where it was in the morning. And I'm arriving at the Upland Public Library at 11 a.m. And at 3 p.m. under that same roof, Joy and Carissa and Ashley and Marty and Brianna and Adam Tuckerman and Alan and Alyssa and Laura are all engaged in what is stalking while a building has the fake sun for that duration of time period. And as I took in pictures, as I exit at around 7 p.m., the fake sun is still there. The entity is stalking as I'm in Upland, California at 8th Street. The fake sun is still at that intersection where they're all going to prison regarding stalking me, using police identification, using the uniforms, identifying yourself as law enforcement when you are actually engaged in stalking. This is the entity that's engaged in what is identifying themselves as the people of the state and private citizens when they're engaged in stalking. And the government that is stalking in commercial planes is telling on everyone. This is a mentally ill population that is obsessed with me and that is engaging in psychotic behavior, including stalking me by helicopter, which I didn't even capture because I don't need it. The Upland Police Department is being disbanded. And the demons that I got documented and every other stalker of that department, like Landivar, are going to prison. This is non-negotiable. They are going to federal prison, and so are the people of the state. This is P.O.C. This is J Street in Euclid, where this is stalking on the roads and the highways. 9 Wendy Xavier 965. And that's all that their purpose is. That's what California is doing. It is surveillance. They're being subject to martial law. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:46 p.m. This is P.O.C. The psychopathic behavior, stalking with light, they're going to prison. I'm gonna go get them right now. They're going to federal prison. This is at Euclid and Morado. And this is speaking to what the people of the state are doing, the people of the state who are mentally ill. They're going to prison. This is conspicuous surveillance, and this is what an entity is doing. This is the people of the state, the demon-possessed version of stalking with the fake sun over your head, stalking with light. This is license plate 9 Uncle Zebra David 164, and they're also stalking in the path where the people of the state reside. I'm going to document that venue as well. This is federal prison. Running with the engine on, engaging that pattern of conduct with the Ontario Police Department. They're going to prison. This is the P.O.C., and this is a demon-possessed person who is mentally ill. And they're engaging in that pattern of conduct, doing so in furtherance of murder. They're all monitoring as well. They're going to prison while they're engaging in that what is psychologically harmful and comes with the entity stalking by plane and helicopter, doing so while they are following me through the neighborhood and while they set up and watch me publish evidence today, and they're still gang stalking. This entire little nook right here, they're all gang stalking. This is 117 Euclid Avenue. They're all being prosecuted. They're all going to be under martial law. All right, the entity's your house. The fake sun's over your house. The entity stalking my planes where you live. You're being prosecuted. They're engaging the P.O.C. There's no airport terminals over here. This is even farther and farther and farther away. What are you doing? You're stalking. They're going to prison. P.O.C. You are engaging in the elements of monitoring and you have no constitutional protections. And this is called loitering and impunity, and it's relevant to sentencing. This is P.O.C. And Southwest Airlines, we prosecuted in Dallas, Texas, the entire company, and the entity is subject to criminal charges. They're going, not just civil. I'm not just taking money. I'm not just shutting that company down. They're being federally prosecuted for criminal activity that the people of the state share in. This is P.O.C. They are going to prison, 9UZD 164. This is the pattern of conduct. This is, I want to be clear, 7:55 p.m. While an entity is stalking. 7-Eleven, excuse me, not 7-Eleven, but Pizza Hut is stalking while they're in the parking lot. While they're on Euclid Avenue. This is the same street where I'm showing you the fake sun in the morning and in the evening. And the entity was gang stalking in Upland, California that shares the pattern of conduct. There are no flights that are ever going to be hovering over this plaza. This is the shutdown of the airport. Direct evidence
the judicially noticed fact when the entity is sharing in those elements, engaging in the psychotic behavior of surveilling someone, stalking someone, and further into murdering that person. This third party is going to federal prison. This is P.O.C.